Hi, it's Jen with Astrology. Welcome back to the channel. Today we are doing the weekly astrology forecast for September 9th through September 16th. So we have a slow beginning to the week, but otherwise this week turns into Virgo mania. So it's all about Virgo. So it's all about simplicity, getting down to basics, purging what we don't need. So we have the new moon in Virgo starting off on the 14th. That is going to be at 21 degrees Virgo. So we have sun there at 21, and then there's the moon coming in for the new moon. So this is going to be in a trine to Uranus. So trine to Uranus. I'm pointing at the wrong one because that one comes next. So trine to Uranus. So that means we're going to think, process changes, and they're going to go through easily, so it's going to be good, hopefully positive changes, because we have, Virgo, new moon, new changes, new starts. We have Mercury that is in its rulership in Virgo. It's also in exaltation in Virgo, so we have a lot of good communication to get these changes done. We have Uranus here in Taurus. That gives us that good foundation to build on with this new moon. So we also have the new moon in opposition to Neptune. So when you think about Virgo and things Virgo likes things to be precise. It likes things to be kind of mapped out. It likes things to be, again, down to the basics, get rid of what we don't need. We're going to fine tune this, and we're going to get this going and, really put some thought behind it. Get a good basis and get it started. It's an earth sign, so earth is very, grounded, and it has a good foundation to start. Doing yoga, that's like that earth, that's that base chakra. It's all about balance. It's all about having a good foundation. Neptune isn't quite like that. Neptune is about those blurred lines. So we're going to have these transitions, but the lines might be a little bit blurred. So there might be the only issue that's going to come about is that we're not going to really know, the exact rules. So, the rules are going to be kind of bent at first until we kind of, Virgo wants to get precision, cutting out the unneeded excess, and really simplicity, where Neptune kind of muddy boundaries, vagueness. So it doesn't have that precision. It's a little more vague. It's a little more cloudy. It's a little more unknown. So that we're going to kind of be with that opposition. It's kind of like going to be a little bit of a fight to get these changes done. But still, with so much positivity and so much going on in Earth, and even in mutable signs too, we got a lot going on in Virgo, lots in the mutable signs this week. So, it's going with the flow. It's going with these changes, riding the waves in. Mutable signs are about just kind of like, okay, we're the cleanup crew. We're going to fix this all up. We're going to make it all pretty, and, so we get ready to start again at the new season. Cleaning up, buttoning down the season. So the new moon is about really getting down to basics, getting focused, getting ready for the fall season that's going to be coming up. What do we need to do? Do we need to, clear our crops, reap what you sow pretty much? Do we need to, fix things up at work to make work go a little better for this upcoming season? I work in transportation, so now that everyone's kind of getting out of the work for executive transportation mostly, and so with people getting out of all the vacations that were all through the summer, people going back to school, people going back to college, we need to button down, we need to get serious, we need to, okay, so times, who's going to what, to pick up what person at what time, and getting a good balance there. Charges need to go through, and just really kind of planning out your day. And I know in my line of work, really being precise with, having a set schedule. I'm pretty much like clockwork every day. I have no Virgo. I have actually my Mars in Virgo, but that's really all I have in Virgo. So knowing me, you wouldn't think so, but I do have my rising sign in Capricorn, so there's my kind of, focus and, planning out things. So, so much Virgo going on, so much of that mutable energy, going with the changes, making those changes, getting started, plant those seeds of what you want to get started. Now, this is again, in the mutable signs at 21 degrees. So, what do you have going on at 21 degrees in the mutable signs or in Virgo itself? Again, I have Mercury, or not Mercury, I have Mars. It's a little later in Virgo than that, but still, I expect that this is really going to make my thought process go down, kind of like fine tune a little bit, and really, and this is all in my ninth house, which is about learning. So I'll get into that, just kind of how it all makes sense, so you can see, kind of figure out how it might be working out in your life. Because again, these transits, they're, and new moons and full moons, they're not always these huge things that a lot of, I see these things that different astrologers put out on YouTube, that it's all, shock and awe, and oh, this is going to happen, oh, this is going to happen, earthquakes. Yes, that does happen, but to normal people and in your normal everyday life, these are very subtle things that happen. And then it takes sometimes looking back and saying, oh, that makes sense. That's why I did that. It makes a lot of sense. So really great idea to pull up your chart. If you need one, visit my website and contact me, astrotastrology.net. And I can get a free chart over to you. And if you're even looking for a little mini reading, we can talk about getting something like that over as well. So that's what's happening on the 14th. We have that new moon. So then on the 15th, we have Mercury stationing direct. Ha! Hallelujah! I don't usually have huge issues during Mercury retrogrades, but this one has been crazy. Last Friday at work, I think I talked about this in a previous video, nothing worked. All the computers went down, all the phones went down. I went from computer to computer using other people's, trying to be able to get anything done, and it was just all morning things were going wrong. Something ended up happening outside. Then something else went down later. I think actually that might have been earlier in the week and then later in the week. And it was just one thing after another, and just one problem after another during this Mercury retrograde. I've heard people having a lot of trouble with their cars. So looking back over, cars, short trips, Mercury, third house, kind of a lot of that kind of feel. So a lot of issues when it comes to that kind of stuff. So we're doing a little Mercury look back today too. So go back over where we were. This all started around August 4th, was when the pre-shadow period started. So what have you been working on or learning maybe, or, that's kind of Virgoian or Virgin. So what house is it in your chart? So, I can kind of give you a couple examples. So for mine, it's in my ninth house of learning. If it's in your house of learning, what have you been learning? So I know with me, I've talked about this in previous videos, but around the beginning of August, I was kind of elected to do tarot card readings at this event that I have coming up in my town. And I said, well, you guys know I do astrology and I don't really do tarot anymore. And they're like, oh, you'll do it. You'll be fine. So I had to go back and relearn a lot of what I haven't kind of done in a long time. So I did do tarot. I started doing tarot when I was about 18 years old, a long time ago. And, then, I really got into it. I really loved it. I tried getting into astrology back then. It was so difficult. So I went to classes for both astrology, but astrology, there was just so much to learn. Tarot was a little bit easier at the time, so I kind of focused on that. Well, now that I'm a little bit older, have a little bit more focus, I got into astrology. So, astrology became my thing. And then now, this gets thrown. And I said, you know what? We'll figure it out. So Mercury retrograde, going back, relearning things, reteaching myself in different ways, how to kind of tie in tarot with astrology to kind of blend the two together. It's working out great. Everything is just, you know, falling right back into place. So, you know, it's about fine tuning. Okay, so now what made it difficult before for me to learn something or to remember something? Well, you know, okay, so if I put it with astrology, I can easily look at a card and know, okay, this is, you know, we'll say the moon in Libra, and I can make sense out of that. Or, you know, okay, so the Hermit card, that's, you know, Mercury, Virgo, it's very Virgo, you know, Virgo is what represents that. So I look at that, I know it's got a lot of Virgo tendencies in there. And then it's just kind of looking at the pictures. But anyway, so it's just kind of fine tuning, cutting out that, like, I need to memorize every single thing, every single card. But now, I mean, I was doing readings on my pets this weekend. And unfortunately, my cat Piggy, the little orange one that's always up here and on camera, now he's not going to settle down this year. So expect to see him continuing through the year being on camera. But yeah, so that's how much I've been practicing and getting ready for this event. So I'm really looking forward to it. So again, if you even want a little bit of a tarot reading, I'm doing little quick 5-card readings. If you have a question, contact me through Astrology at astrotastrology.net or astrotastrology@gmail, and with a little question, and I'll be glad to give you a little free answer to it, just for practice. I think it'd be a lot of fun. Even in the comments, if you want to put something in the comments and say, what's going to happen here? I'll do a little focus. I'll tell you what your cards are, and I'll tell you what I'm seeing. So I think it'll be a lot of fun, a lot of interaction. I look forward to hearing from some of you. So moving on. So, you know, that's kind of my example of how this is working out in my chart. Totally, you know, by the book. But otherwise, I wouldn't even be thinking anything of it. But when you look back and you're like, oh, that's about when I started. That's when I got, you know, some more books online, when I really started getting back into it, pulling out my cards, really every day, doing some stuff. So now that it's moved, then it was, when I had, that's when everything was kind of spelled out, like I said. So going through a couple houses, say the 6th house. The 6th house is very kind of the Virgo ruled house, you could even say. So if it's in your 6th house, expect health issues. Maybe that you're trying a new health regimen, trying a new diet, trying a new exercise program. So, you know, or even maybe health issues are coming back up for you that you've had in the past. You maybe want to really keep an eye on that if it's happening in your 6th house, especially this being a new moon also coming about after this retrograde. So if something was kind of brewing a little bit during the retrograde, now that Mercury's going to be moving forward, that seed is planted. So you really want to keep watch of what might be happening, say, in your body. So that is a lot of 6th house. It's also day-to-day work and routine. So refining that routine to kind of be a little more, you know, be able to be more productive, because you're fine-tuning what you're trying to do, what you're trying to get done, fine-tuning your everyday schedule, kind of getting on a better routine. Very Virgo, making things a little bit easier, quicker, making yourself more productive. Can't hurt. Say the 3rd house, if this is going on in your 3rd house, expect more kind of third, little short journeys. Maybe you're going to be taking like short little trips to, you know, nearby fun places. There's a lot of, I know here in New England, it is definitely fair season. So a lot of people are going out around the state to all the different fairs. I know we're heading to one actually right in my town on Saturday. I'm going to run the race in the morning, and then I get a free ticket for the fair. So I said, hey, why not? It's only a 5K, so it should be fun. Wish me luck, because I'm out of shape lately. So there, I kind of need that new moon happening in Virgo to really get that my Mars revved up for this race. So hopefully now that Mercury's moving direct, I'll be a little more motivated. So anyway, Third house, short journeys, maybe revisiting old friends that you haven't talked to in a while, reaching out to people, maybe giving someone a quick buzz or a quick text or a quick email and saying, hey, just trying to catch up. Little things like that. Little things. If it's in your 11th house, say, for instance, maybe it's kind of refining that big friend group. Maybe you have some people that, merely are more kind of toxic friends that you don't really need in your life. Maybe it's a time to kind of, phase them out a little bit. Of course, don't be mean about it, but just kind of like maybe take a little break. You're kind of fine tuning, getting rid of what is not healthy for you, what's not healthy for you mentally. Now is a great time to do that. With a new moon, everything happening in Virgo, it's a great time to just clean up those loose ends, plant that seed for a better life starting at the end of this month, because we, of course, have the best zodiac sign coming up. So, Libra. Not that I'm biased or anything. So anyway, so also happening on the 15th, we have the sun in Virgo, and it's trying that Uranus. So we already kind of talked about this, but how picture is this? Our vitality, our drive, in a trine with Uranus, that forces change. It forces us to make that change, that things that drive us, that, what is propelling us forward in this life? What are we aiming for in this life? That trine with this new moon really is going to push that. It's going to kind of be that push forward, that change from being at a standstill. Might be kind of a hard push. This is Uranus in Taurus, don't forget. So, Taurus, you got to kind of give a little slap to get going, and it's not going to be super fast, but it's a positive start towards this change. It's not going to be a quick start anyway. You're thinking, Mercury is coming off that retrograde. So Mercury is going to get a slow start to move forward, because it doesn't just start and it's at its quick Mercury speed. It's going to take a little bit to get that momentum going. But it's moving in a positive direction towards your goals. So really just kind of use this to kind of get that burst, to kind of push yourself forward. Again, I'm just going to start kind of making these little ties in with tarot, since I'm kind of mixing the two lately, but this reminds me a lot of the Chariot card. So the Chariot card, most decks show the Chariot card kind of at a standstill. Either has like maybe square wheels, or the wheels aren't moving. It's got two laying down, maybe I know in the Rider-Waite deck, it's got two Sphinx and they're laying down. They're not actually pushing it. So it's about, getting that drive, getting that to get going. So it's about starting that movement forward to get to your goals. So also with this new moon energy, we're cutting out excesses, again, simplifying, focus what is on the most important elements, and get rid of what's not important, because it's not important. Get rid of clothes that don't fit you anymore. Move forward. It's like, I've been saving these jeans for years. I'm going to fit into them someday. You know what? They're probably out of style anyway. Just get rid of them and just don't worry about that last maybe couple pounds. Or if it's in your 6th house, maybe you will fit into them, because maybe you're going to really get yourself going. If it's, editing your wardrobe, getting rid of, maybe what's not in style, what's last year's style. Anything in the summer that you haven't put on all this summer, just throw it out. You don't need it. Give it to charity. Someone out there can use it. Again, getting rid of toxic people in your life. You don't need all that. You can fine tune. You can kind of downgrade a little. Not downgrade, just kind of upgrading your mental state to downgrade the things that you don't need, or not downgrade, but like express it. Get rid of it. So, another thing we want to talk about is, we've talked about this in a past video before, and we have a grand kite. So grand kite is a grand trine. So we have the grand trine is in our earth signs. So we have, that one is the top of the kite, so we're not going to focus on that right now. So we have, in our grand kite, we have Pluto in Capricorn, earth sign. We have I think it's Uranus, or is it, I'm just looking at my notes. Yes, it's Uranus. So we have Earth, Uranus. I wasn't sure if it was Uranus, but it's later in the month. So we have Uranus in Taurus, and then we have the Sun in Virgo. This is making the grand kite formation, or grand trine formation. So this is things, it's a good time to build. So the stars right now are showing us this is our foundation. This is all earth signs. This is where we're going to get serious. We're going to have a good foundation to build on, good structure, good ideas. We're going to be able to plan. So it encourages us, so pretty much break down. So Sun in Virgo, simplify, get down to the bare bones. Use the new moon energy to make these changes in your life, because you have that foundation. The new moon foundation in Virgo is what we can build upon. Uranus, those sudden changes, you're going to take them and go with them because they have that good earthy foundation. We got the Sun in a mutable sign, so that's going with the flow. Pluto up here, that's about lasting results. So you make these changes, but Pluto's like, now you're not going back. This is the way it's going to be. That's about complete transition. So if you're changing something about, again, it all depends on where this falls in your chart, but say you're changing something about, like I said, maybe yourself. Maybe this is happening in your first house. Maybe you have, say, Taurus in your first house, or you have the Virgo in your first house. Maybe you want to change, I've had this long dark hair forever. That's it. I'm cutting it off, and it's going to be short, and I'm bleaching it blonde. So that's very Uranus thing to do. But with Pluto there, you might actually love it and say, this is the new me, and this is how I'm going to be for a while anyway, until, the next grand trine comes around. And so it's going to go smooth. Everyone's going to love it. This is a grand trine. Everything's happy. So then, so you picture the trine. Here's your triangle here, right, like that. Well, then what makes things a grand kite? So we have that little peak on top. So the peak is this Neptune that is in Pisces. So, you're taking some very, these earthy things that like foundation, that like to know what they're doing. They plan things out. They're strategic about it. And then we throw Neptune into the mix. It's like, whoa. And in Pisces, Neptune is happy as hell in Pisces. It's like, oh, woo, this is fun. And oh, look at the beautiful colors. And it's all about that. So we have that good foundation, cutting out the excess, but then, with the Neptune, the sky is the limit. We don't have those boundaries. So those boundaries that the earth signs are trying to put on us, with that Capricorn, putting up those barriers, kind of, we don't have. That kite, and especially that being at the top of the kite, that's where we can go. That's where we're sailing off to. There's no boundaries. What do you want to do? What seed do you want to plant here? Because you can do anything you want. Who knows? Maybe, I'm going to be the best tarot reader in the world, and that's going to be, my calling, and who knows? But anyway, sky is the limit. You're taking all this, very earthy, serious stuff, adding that kind of flakiness, that kind of fun, that kind of sky's the limit. And there's so much mutability. We have Saturn and Neptune in Pisces. We have the sun, the moon, Mercury, and I think we even have, in Mercury, all that is in mutable signs. Sag is kind of empty right now. And then we have, I think Gemini is pretty empty right now. Just looking. Yeah, I don't even see really any asteroids or anything in that, just of the major asteroids that I have up. So it's really, this polar opposite, between Pisces, that boundless, kind of smoky gray area, and then that precision of Virgo, almost, kind of working against each other, but really working together to make these changes, these good, long lasting changes, these positive changes that are going to kind of propel us into a good future. So we're encouraged to be very optimistic, be adventurous, be curious, be impulsive. Don't be held back. If you're a heavy fixed sign natally, you may find that you're a little, your anxiety might be a little up. You might feel a little stressed. You might be kind of maybe staying up at night because you're just like, oh, all this change is so much. If you're a cardinal sign, a lot of times you kind of start that change, but you don't always finish it. This is really encouraging us to go through the process. We want to start here, Capricorn, kind of see it through with what we have going on with our Jupiter and our Uranus in Taurus. That's our fixed sign. That's keeping the momentum going, and then we're finishing it off with the nice mutable energy going on here. And I think it's really positive things that this world is looking forward to and working towards. It's going to take a little while. I see the biggest changes really coming to fruition when Pluto finally moves into Aquarius, and when the nodes change signs, from this kind of, the Aries Libra axis, forcing things to get going, and then when they kind of go into the next, when they change, they're going to be changing over in the beginning of 2025 as well. So that's when I really think that all these changes are going to kind of fall into place, and that's kind of when the mutable energy is going to get it all cleaned up. So it's not going to just be this season. It's going to take a little bit longer than that. So I encourage that change. Don't be complacent. You can't change, you can't grow without a little bit of change in your life. So you want to look outside that box and really embrace it. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Please subscribe, and please contact me for a chart of your own or for a mini tarot reading. And I look forward to hearing from you guys, and make sure to leave those comments. That way we can kind of interact a little bit. Again, subscribe, like the video, and hit the notification bell, because last week we started on our true crime serial killer series that we're going to be doing through September and maybe into October. So that should be a lot of fun. Hit that notification bell, and I hope to see you soon. Have a good one. Bye.